Welcome back, everyone. It has been too long, as they say. It is week 12 of the NFL, week 13 college football. We are nearing the end of the college football season, regular season, and we are about two-thirds of the way through what is now an 18-week NFL schedule. So we have not seen you folks for a while, but we've been out here on a different platform doing our damnedest to bring you some winners on a weekly basis. If nothing else, some entertainment from me in the form of chicanery and outright fucking tomfoolery in my losing picks. So here we have me, the anonymous betting public, your co-host, Big Zest, my co-host. We're ready to talk some college football today, and we are going to lead things off with one of my favorites, the Windiana Hoosiers versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. Windiana trying to go into Ohio State, currently sitting at plus 11 and looking for a school record 11th win. But the feeling is not too great for Signetti and the boys. Why is that?
Yeah, honestly, I could not love this team more. Like you said, Signetti's my boy. This team continues to achieve and aspire to goals that Indiana hasn't seen since they were on a hardwood floor. However, Ohio State is still Ohio State. This is not a we'll catch them when they're wrong, catch them when they're right game. Ohio State is significantly better than anybody Indiana has ever faced in a long time, let alone this year. We just saw what they did against Michigan, which uh, unfortunately some of us have seen Michigan play fresh off a natty. They are not a great team, and Indiana looked less than subpar against that. Ohio State is yet to wow any of us, but that's what Ohio State does. We expect them to have the letdown. Trust me, I'm rooting for my money first off, but a Ohio State 12-point victory I'd be okay with, and looking trashy because Ohio State is uh less than something anybody ever wants to back. So uh Indiana, this is a bad matchup. Hate to say it. Go Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. Indiana scraped by last week against Michigan, much to my chagrin. I thought they would take out years and years and years of pain against the boys in blue. But that didn't happen, and leads me to believe that despite my general disappointment, which you described for Ohio State, they do have a handful of plays every game, no matter who they play, where you look at it and you just think, they should fucking do that more. Why don't they do that more? And this week it seems like they can finally unleash themselves. So we'll see how the Buckeyes fare. Alrighty. We will move on down to some Big 12 action. Just south of Ohio. Colorado against Kansas. Here we have Neon Dion and the Buffaloes going up against the Jayhawks, who just beat the team that the Buffaloes may face in the Big 12 title game in the BYU Cougars. What are we thinking here?
I seem to have them on my ticket weekly. And Colorado has exceeded expectations to an extent, but the Big 12 as a whole has under exceeded. Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, nowhere near what we thought they were. Uh, Kansas was very unlucky to start the year, but if you actually look at teams that are in the top 50, in fact, I think it's top 40, Nebraska beat the piss out of Colorado. Baylor, they won on a Hail Mary. And I cannot think of the other team at the moment, but Colorado's a little faux pas. They have exceeded expectations from what we thought, but this idea that they are this juggernaut makes me a little concerned. I don't know if this is the time to catch them, but moving forward, I would definitely fade Colorado. Uh, I do think Kansas is getting right. Uh, Also, the idea that Colorado's this juggernaut is a little ridiculous. We've got what, a Heisman candidate, we've got Neon Dion, we've got all this other stuff. But if you actually look at the numbers, it's a little gross. I don't want to shit on them completely because they have succeeded better, but they are still the team we thought they were a couple of weeks ago. They just have been able to elevate themselves to get to this faux pas. I believe in Colorado bullshit.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I think for whatever reason, the Daniels kid in Kansas just, maybe had some early injuries and didn't quite live up to the what we thought he would be for the Jayhawks this year. But we saw them play BYU really tough, and now they get to catch a Colorado team. This game is at Arrowhead Stadium, which is interesting. So I don't know what type of mentality that'll bring from the Buffaloes, some of whom think that they will be playing on Sundays here in the next year or so. But we shall see. And hopefully we can find some greenbacks coming out of that matchup. Next on the slate is beloved armed forces of the United States in the Army branch against the also my beloved Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, after a stunning loss to Northern Illinois, for which Northern Illinois minted a special bottle of bourbon, but that's neither here nor there. Notre Dame's actually looked really well. Defense has been borderline incredible, and the offense occasionally looks explosive. So, what do we think here with the Army soldiers? They're going to have a chance?
Look, America, we trust. This is the only time Ireland and the Irish might ever have an advantage against American troops. Too much talent. I love this Army team. It's just a bad matchup from secondary to in the trenches. Even if Army thinks they can hold the ball for 60 minutes, they cannot. Uh, it could get ugly, but even at 14, I know got bet down a couple from. I've heard 17.5 down to 13.5. I don't buy any of it. This is just a bad matchup. I support Army and everything they're doing. Their little spread offense that they've attempted to add, it's just a terrible matchup. All in all, I know the Irish lost to Northern Illinois, which is just a juggernaut, but they also beat the piss out of Navy, and they ain't messing around anymore. Uh, I hate it. Hate to lay the number. I root the Army makes it something, but the Irish are going to go in there and just punk the shit out of the armed forces.
Yeah, obviously, I'm the resident Notre Dame fan here. Would love to see this. It's going to be in Yankee Stadium, so that's kind of a split crowd. They do play in Yankee Stadium every year, one, to build the brand for the Irish, but two, this game specifically, a little bit interesting in that regard because West Point is in New York. So we'll see how that turns out from a crowd perspective. But what I know will happen is lots of solid defense, and total here could be in play as it sits at 45.5. And Notre Dame's offense has a tendency to dick around, and Army has a tendency to hold on to that football. So even if they don't end up putting it in the end zone, they get a couple field goals, keep that spread in play, keep that total in play. This will be a fun one to watch. We'll see what happens out there in New York.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. The total and the spread kind of mirror one another. It's much larger than you'd think for an Army game, which again leads me to the Irish being able to do what they want to, and maybe Army having to do more than they're normal accustomed to.
Yep, definitely looks that way. All right, so we're going to make some good money Saturday, and we are not going to be chasing losses on Sunday. God damn it. We're going to be chasing more winners. And the first one is going to be our favorite Lego-headed warrior, Sam Darnold, going up against the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. We got the Vikings at 3.5. We're laying the points, right?
Yeah, maybe I was a week ahead, although I think Green Bay honestly shit the bed last week and got away with a non-cover, but a victory. But the Vikings are incredibly efficient when teams have to throw the ball quickly. Like, hey, Zest, what's the deal? Uh, Caleb looked well last week, threw the ball out. Well, that plays right into the scheme of the Vikings. So the Vikings, the numbers I don't have right in front of me, but when the quarterback throws the ball under 2 seconds, which that's what Caleb did last week, the Vikings are the best in the league. They want you to do that. They come, they tackle, it's over, or they score touchdowns. Okay, well, we'll just allow him to throw beyond that 2 second mark. Well, the Bears allow the most sacks. He's been sacked the most time. Caleb looked like trash versus literally everybody because he holds on to the ball too much. Well, that plays right in the Vikings' hands. Also, they get after the quarterback. They sack the quarterback. This is just a terrible matchup for the Bears. Uh, Honestly, you could argue last week we were laying 6, 5.5, depending on where you got it. They didn't cover it, so it doesn't matter. The Vikings are a better version of the Packers, and this is week 2 of whatever bullshit the Bears are laying out. This is just a terrible matchup from start to finish. It doesn't matter what they want to do. None of it really matches up because they cannot run the ball. Vikings, Darnold defense, outside of Darnold throwing 5 picks, not a chance here.
Yeah, I like this one. Look, Caleb Williams might end up being a great pro. Certainly not going to write him off at this point. Going to be an entire regime change in Chicago. Who knows what the hell's going to happen with his future? That being said, your point about the Vikings wanting people to throw early is aligned with what I see from them on a week-to-week basis, which is Flores wants you to throw early because he's going to convince you that the defense that you see is entirely fucking different than the one that he's actually going to run. So when you're making that decision after 2-3 seconds, you're thinking that it's cover 3 and maybe it's man-to-man, right? He's trying to fuck up your mind, and who's he going to have a better time doing that with than a rookie quarterback playing on a big-time game against a big-time divisional matchup? This feels ripe for some turnovers, ripe for some Vikings defense. Their only 2 losses are against Goff and the Lions, who have beaten the pants off of just about everyone this year, and the Rams in LA with Stafford, who has seen every defense under the sun. Absolute veteran. So, huge difference between Goff, Stafford, and Williams. I like the points here.
Yeah, they're gonna come after him, or they're not gonna come after him. The problem is they don't have any rebuttal to either. So, like I said, it's gonna be a cluster of the mind, regardless of what Chicago thinks they can do.
Yeah. I'm foreseeing Sam Darnold in the middle of the field after the game, shaking Caleb Williams' hand and being like, "That's what ghosts are like, dog. Fuck." All right. We shall move on to the land of Wisconsin. Eating some cheese up there with the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay is up to -5.5 from a spread perspective on the news that Brock Purdy and Joey, Nick, one of the Bosas is out for San Francisco. So was it 2.5, maybe 3? Lines jumped up 2 points. Packers are at home. Do we have any faith in the 49ers rolling out another backup quarterback?
Yeah, I find the Purdy info probably a little bit of bullshit, but the Niners have cluster injuries all over the place. And going into this game, the only reason I didn't write this up or actually stamp this as a uh, absolute play is the Packers have kind of been a little bit of horseshit. Like I think very highly of them, but they've meandered. Last week we had them as beat them the Bears. They just don't seem to play up to standards. Jair Alexander's likely out. In fact, I'm almost positive he's out. But that's written into the script here. Any Anybody that's worth a damn is into this line. So that tells me the Packers. This is a huge profile game. NFL wants to promote it, make it worth a damn. Honestly, I think the Packers blow them out. Uh, my side would be the Packers, but prove it. Show me you are that team. I mean, we had them week 1 against the Eagles. They kind of showed that. Everybody wants to say, oh, Jordan Love's been hurt. Well, Jordan Love hasn't done a goddamn thing for the most of the year outside of that game. But the Niners also have allowed 3 or 4 fourth quarter comebacks, and they just blow the lead. Yeah, you get Christian McCaffrey. You're catching 5.5. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, give me the Niners. Horseshit. I think this is a blowout. I think the Niners get their doors blown off Sunday.
Yeah, it's certainly tough to trust another backup quarterback in San Francisco. I don't care what anyone says. Purdy is got a little bit of gunslinger in him. Brandon Allen, I don't know what he's going to come in and do, but I don't have a whole lot of faith here. And it's really, to me, it would have been a matter of the San Francisco defense forcing some turnovers. Jordan Love does have 11 interceptions in 10 games, but with no Bosa on the field, he's not going to feel pressured like he should. And he ought to feel pretty good back there throwing to his cheesehead partners. So go, Pack, go, as they say.
Did I?
And
I'm dead ass serious. Did I miss something? Like, is he ruled out? Purdy?
Purdy's out. Yeah.
He's out.
Out. Get the fuck
Out.
out.
Okay. Well, I love it even more now. But you're saying above replacement Allen, which was I think a Texas A&M prodigy, had zero clue that he was playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I am, again, only as good a reporting as TMZ ESPN will allow. But I'm showing Brock Purdy ruled out this just earlier today, along with uh, whatever damn Bosa they have. I don't know, Nick or Joey, the good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
The one
no
that's
shit.
not hurt as
I
much.
loved it at the 5.5. I knew it was weird, but interesting.
It's Nick Bosa. He's out. Travarius Ward also out. Dre Greenlaw out. They're beat up. Going to be tough for them. Not loving these 49ers this week. All right. Let's cruise on over to the West Coast and check in with our friends in Seattle who are climbing out from under some major power issues up there in the Pacific Northwest. Hopefully they can get some electricity to Lumen Field. That would be ironic if they could not. But Cardinals and Seahawks currently at Arizona -1 per TMZ ESPN. Saw it as a pick 'em earlier in the week. What do you think about my boy Gino?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Typically, you get a +1 on a dog. You jump on it. More home field, all this other bullshit. The biggest play on this is who has Seattle played? And you can go through the list, and the people they've played, they've kind of got bullied and bullshitted. The Cardinals are sneaky. They're nasty. They're very efficient ish. You want them to continue to succeed, but they are very comparable opponents week to week, day to day. They did beat the Chargers. Nobody watched it, but they were able to succeed in what they wanted to do. Seattle, on the other hand, they've played nobodies, is the NFL standard comes. They're coming off of the victory of the Niners, but they didn't look great. Now you're at home and you're like, oh, the 12s. Well, you know what? Fuck the 12s. Pardon my French. But prove it. You really haven't won at home either. Like, Gino is still not Jets Gino, but when he steps up in competition of defenses, which the Cardinals' defense isn't elite, but they went wire to wire with the Buffalo Bills, and everybody thought, oh, yeah, Buffalo had a bad day. But it's looking better and better for Buffalo, so why doesn't it look better for the Cardinals? Like, this team is, I almost use the word legit, but they are a problem. I have a hard time believing the Seahawks cover this number. They're literally, it's written in the spread in the books. This home field advantage, at best, you're what, a 6 or 5 point dog in a home field, or not in a home field, but a neutral field. Like, your home field advantage of the 12s you guys claim to have isn't written in it. So, yeah, give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals have been scrappy. Definitely have played solid. Looking over the Seahawks record, like you said, anytime they face a tough team, it's an L, man. The winning teams that they've beat, they caught the Dolphins when Tua had just gone out. They also beat the 49ers, who are actually 500 team, not even a winning team. So this could get a little bit difficult. This will be the first of two meetings in the next 3 weeks between these teams. So could play a little bit closer to the vest here if you're the Cardinals. But, this is the NFL. They've got different ways to attack the offense and attack schemes. So I think that the Redbirds here have a solid chance. And speaking of flying birds, we are going to see the Eagles on Sunday Night Football fly into LA, pack the house at SoFi Stadium, and go up against the 5-5 Rams, currently laying 3 points. Rams are a home dog. Sunday Night Football. Does that offense have enough?
Yeah, home dogs of 3. Sign me up. They have let me down before. I'm not saying the home field advantage is crazy, but I sure respect McVay more than I do Sirianni's dipshit approach. I do think the Rams play comparable or very efficient defense, and then you add Stafford with his weapons and the running effect. I just think there's a little much here. I think we're getting over. I think we're overvaluing what the Eagles have done, because honestly, they really haven't done anything. Everybody says, "Hey, they're back. Back from what?" They really haven't proved anything. They've beaten who they were supposed to beat. They look terrible against people that they should have beat. Jacksonville, Cleveland, to come off the top of my head, but not that the Rams have been elite. But this is a little ugly. Now, had the Rams lost last week, maybe we could get a little different. Like I said, I've put it in the write up several times. I do think the Rams win the West, even though last week I said I fell little out of love, but I'm still in love. And this is a game that goes towards them. I not only do I think they win, I think they excuse me. Not only do I think they cover, I think they win outright. Pretty convincingly as you can as a 3-point dog.
Yeah, I like your style here. Eagles are on a hell of a run. They've won 6 in a row. That being said, they've beaten the Browns, the Giants, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Cowboys, and the Commanders. I don't think there's really any argument. The Commanders are probably the best team out of that bunch, and that's their most recent victory. It is very likely to me that the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing their disdain in general for their head coach, are going to be taking some victory laps around the LA night scene on Saturday night, knowing that they have the late game on Sunday and probably come out a little tired here. So I like the Rams at home, mostly because that personally benefits me and my chances for Puka Nakua to have a huge game. So never anything wrong with that. But
Yeah, outside of your self proclamation of, trying to benefit yourself, I agree. The Eagles are just God so insufferable that this is what they do. They think they're something, they feel it, and they shit the bed. Like I would, like I said, not only cover, the Rams win this outright. And I really bet responsibly, but I have little to no doubt that this is a game that they shit the bed completely, and the wrong team. But the team is favored, but the wrong team wins outright. So catch that 120, 130 bet.
nice. Well, we're going to end on a one sentence response to the Har Bowl. Who you got? Jim or John?
Harbaugh.
Of course,
I
that is
I
the
find it. Yeah, I find it. Obviously, we've gone way more than the sentence, unless I don't add commas or add more commas.
the old run-on sentence.
Give me John. I think this is a big brother game here. Somehow, some way, big brother game. That's what I would. That's what I should have led with. Is big brother game.
The total, I think, tells the story here. Chargers have a hell of a defense. Ravens have a pretty good defense. We're at 50.5. There's no
I
fucking
would
way to
take.
get. There's no
I would
fucking way to
take
get
the
50.
under.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I feel too. But there's no way you set the over at 50 unless you absolutely believe the Ravens could potentially have their way with the Chargers. Because the Chargers offense has not been that explosive throughout the year.
Zero chance. Obviously, their opponents led to their unders, but
That's just the way Jim wants to do it. Like
they
Jim
are not going to have the matchup they had with Cincinnati. This is not a Cincinnati game. This is going to be I'm Big Brother, and I'm pretty sure he's Big Brother. Regardless, he might be a little brother, but he's going to say, "Hey, I'm doing it my way." Under and Chargers.
All right. We're going to jump right back into college football for a brief moment to discuss some very, 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 very small schools. Who are you going to talk about in this incy bincy school section?
Yeah, UNLV is going to win outright against Arkansas State. I know some of our colleagues are very close to Arkansas State. I promise you, this is not the Arkansas State you think you saw in NC 25 college football. UNLV is much more challenged schedule wise. They've performed really well with these better schools. Long story short, give me the Warhawks. They went outright. They are +3, but they went outright. They're going to let the Red Wolves of Arkansas State get bitch slapped a little bit, and we'll see.
There you have it, folks. Nobody covers the Sun Belt like Zesty's Bets. That'll wrap it up for us here on another NFL and college football weekend. We will try and be back next week. Everybody's got the holidays coming up. Got a lot of football coming up for Turkey weekend. So hopefully you'll see us around here. We're going to have some links in the video description to both Zesty and I's Substack, where you can catch his full slate of picks and me generally just fucking around. And we'll see you there. Adios, muchachos.
Hey, thank you for listening.
Yes. Like, subscribe, comment. Help us game the goddamn algorithms. Please. Otherwise, we just have to get boobs on the show. We don't have any.